I've witnessed too much in this line of work to believe anything is random anymore. So when the dispatcher read out the location, Ridgeway Hotel, room 614, I felt a tightening in my chest. Not panic. More like a warning. Something telling me to brace myself. My partner, LeBlanc, shot me a quick look. "You okay?" he asked. "Yeah," I said, even though it wasn't true. The hallway was dim, the carpet heavy with the smell of bleach and long-buried secrets. The door to the room stood slightly ajar. Inside, a man's shadow moved back and forth, restless, pacing. I nudged the door open, and that's when I saw her. My wife sat on the edge of a wrinkled hotel bed, a robe draped over her as if she'd thrown it on without thinking. Her hair was disheveled, her breathing uneven. Next to her stood a man I'd never seen before, gripping his shirt like someone who'd been caught stealing something far more precious than time. In that instant, everything shrank into a single, cold point inside me. She smiled too quickly, forcing it. "I'm okay," she said. "Just dizzy." Her voice broke on the final word. LeBlanc moved into professional mode, checking vitals, asking standard questions. I stayed where I was, unmoving, watching as her eyes flicked everywhere except toward me. Then LeBlanc stopped. His expression shifted, confusion first, then something sharper. He took my arm and pulled me aside, his voice low and urgent. "Don't treat her. Call the police." My heart jumped into my throat. "Why?" I asked. He didn't explain. He didn't need to. When I turned back, I finally noticed what he had seen. Her robe had slipped just enough to reveal the truth, finger-shaped bruises on her upper arm, marks along her collarbone, a small, fresh cut on her lip, bleeding slowly. These weren't injuries from an accident. They were signs of a struggle. Signs of someone touching her who shouldn't have been. The man stepped forward, already rehearsed. "She fainted," he said. "Hit the nightstand." LeBlanc cut him off. "You touched her before she fell." The man swallowed hard. My wife finally met my eyes. In them was everything she couldn't bring herself to say: fear, guilt, and something darker. Calculation. I recognized the bruises instantly. Paramedics always do. Some were fading, others new. Not random. A pattern. A history. My thoughts snapped through the last few months like a damaged slideshow: late-night showers, makeup wiped off too fast when I walked in, sleeves pulled down no matter how warm it was. The distance in our bed. The secrets. And every time I asked, she smiled. Said work was stressful. Said she needed space. Said nothing was wrong. At first, I believed her. At first, I blamed myself. But standing there, seeing her half-dressed and shaking beside a stranger who was afraid for all the wrong reasons, everything became clear. This wasn't a one-night mistake. It was a second life built on lies, one that went far beyond cheating. This man wasn't just an affair. He was something else. Something worse. And from the way her breathing sped up, I realized she wasn't scared of me finding out about the affair. She was terrified of what else might surface. So was he. I didn't confront them. Not there. Not then. I stepped back into the hallway and let the door close, sharp and final, like a scalpel against skin. While LeBlanc called the police, I made my own calls. First, a detective friend who owed me more than one favor. Then someone in hospital administration. Then a nurse who quietly handled intake records. I asked for names. Reports. Unusual injuries. Unexplained visits. And slowly, piece by piece, the truth assembled itself. She'd been going to clinics under another name. She'd been pulling cash from an account I didn't know existed. She'd been meeting this man for months, not only in hotels, but at a rental property registered in his name. And the bruises. They weren't from him hurting her. They came from their games. Willing. Repeated. Consensual. But that wasn't what cut the deepest. What destroyed me was the file. My detective friend sent a photo, her signature on a life insurance policy. A new beneficiary. Not me. Him. I stared at my phone until the image blurred. This betrayal wasn't emotional. It wasn't physical. It was deliberate. Strategic. A plan. When I went back into the room, I was calm. Steady. I wasn't there as a husband anymore. I was there as someone who already knew how the story ended, and was preparing the final chapter. The police arrived and separated everyone. My wife sat on the bed, pale, hands shaking, finally realizing the narrative was no longer hers to control. "Why are they here?" she whispered. I handed her the file. The color drained from her face. "Where did you get this?" she asked. I didn't reply. An officer asked her about the bruises. She hesitated. Looked at the man. Looked at me. Her silence said everything. When the officer asked if I'd noticed anything unusual, I kept my voice even. I did. "The injuries don't match the explanation." Her eyes widened. I wasn't betraying her. I was uncovering the truth she'd buried. The officer asked the man for identification. He didn't have it. Another lie. Another piece clicking into place. When they separated them for questioning, my wife finally broke. She reached toward me. I stepped back. "You already did," I said softly. Her breath caught. Her expression collapsed. She realized I wasn't furious. I wasn't yelling. I wasn't shattered. I was finished. And that's when she truly panicked. Revenge didn't need fists or raised voices. It needed accuracy. And I had everything I needed. I gave the officers every relevant detail: clinic visits, unexplained injuries, contradictions, not as revenge, but as facts. They detained the man first. He protested, insisting he'd done nothing wrong. My wife stood there trembling, watching the structure she'd built crumble in real time. I leaned in just close enough for her to hear me, but not close enough for her to touch me. "You didn't just cheat," I said. "You risked my name, my career, my future." Tears filled her eyes. She whispered my name. I said nothing. "I never meant," she started. "You did," I interrupted. "Every single step." I handed over my report, clean, detailed, professional, impossible to dispute. She watched the officer read it, her face breaking a little more with each line. Her lover was led away. She wasn't arrested. Not yet. But everything had shifted, and she knew it. I delivered the last blow quietly. "You lied to the wrong person," I said. "And you forgot what I do for a living." Her knees weakened as the realization settled in, that I had the training, the connections, the proof, and the resolve to dismantle everything she tried to build behind my back. When we left the hotel, the night felt unnervingly calm. LeBlanc didn't say a word. He didn't need to. I drove home alone. No music, no racing thoughts. Just clarity. Cold. Clean. I wasn't shocked anymore. I wasn't broken. I was awake. She tried to rewrite my life. To erase me. To replace me. But in her need to control the narrative, she overlooked one simple truth: I see everything. And I don't forget. As I locked the door behind me, I knew this wasn't the ending. It was the start of her unraveling. And the final thought settled in my mind with perfect precision. She should have called anyone else, because I was the one person who would always see through the lies. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and comment. Subscribe now to Cheating Stories Insight World for more amazing stories.